by different types of yoga, sankhya, karma, jnana, ashtanga system. This yoga system from a gradual progression culminating at the end of chapter 6 in Bhakti Yoga. Devotional service to Krishna. The middle section of Gita, chapter 7 through 12, which is now, is chiefly concerned with Krishna himself, Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the eternal relationship of the jivas with him, based upon Bhakti Yoga. The 7th chapter is concerned with knowledge of Krishna, the process of attaining that knowledge, and end result of such attainment. The first 3 verses serve as a prelude in which Krishna says, in essence, devotion to me brings full knowledge of me. Now I shall give you all material and spiritual knowledge. Although knowledge of me is a rare attainment, Krishna begins by defining his 2 principal energies, the inferior energy, matter, and apara prakriti, consisting of 8 material elements, and his superior energy, spirit. Where am I? Spirit or para prakriti, consisting of the jivas who are now entangled in matter, 4 to 5. Is the origin and dissolution of both energy, is the supreme truth, 6, 7. So these are like all the way up to 30. It gives us some key point that you need to focus. So without delay, let's start with the first one. We can recite the verse together so we don't have to take so much time. Text 1. The chapter 7, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, Prabhupada title as Knowledge of the Absolute. Text 1. Together. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Junjan Madashraya Asangsayam Samagramam Yatha Geshashi Tashrinu. Would somebody like to read synonyms?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Sri Bhagavana Uvacha, the Supreme Lord said, Mai to me, Asakta Manaha, mind attached, Partha, Osanaprita, Yogam, self-realization, Yunjan, practicing, Mat Asrayaha, in consciousness of me, Krishna consciousness, Asamayam, without doubt, Samagram, completely, Mam, me, Yatha, how,
As much as.
You can know
Yes.
that, Bruno, try to hear.
Very good. Thank you. Now, from the Mataji's side, can somebody read the translation, please?
I can read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Go ahead.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt.
Okay. So translation has a beautiful complete, clear definition that if somebody, I'm sure each of us, we wanted to know Krishna in complete. What is the key point to understand Krishna in complete?
To fully surrender to the
You have to be attached.
Mind attached.
Is the attachment we have to bring, or attachments is eternally with us?
It is with us always.
Very good. Attachment is eternally within every soul. Question is shifting from unnecessary things to Krishna. Attachment is within us, but it's easy to say, shift the attachment. There has to be attraction. Remember this, impression brings attraction. Contemplation brings desire. You will see within same family, so many brother, sister, each one has a different attraction for different things. But they are eating the same food, same house, same school, same thing. Because they are caring from previous life. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that attraction for the things or someone is from previous life. We have two types of sanskar, impression. Previous impression called praptan sanskar, and how you grow up in this life is called adhunik sanskar. What food you eat, whoever you hang around, what festival you go, did you grow up as a believer of God? These are upbringing. So you carrying two things. One is your upbringing, you with your family, your parents, how they raised you, what are the friends you associated with. They inflicted your consciousness. They literally infected not in a wrong way, in a good way, that you became contagious, whatever the consciousness they were around you. So that's called adhunik sanskar. Praktan sanskar means you carrying many lives, deep emotional attachment. So you are born here in this planet with carrying your previous luggage impression, and you carrying this upbringing. Arjuna is born as a Kshatriya fighter. He was trying to escape from it. But Krishna says very clearly, Svabhavajena kantaya nibaddhasena karmana kartum nekshasi janmat karishyasi avasapitat. Arjuna, you are born with a particular nature. I want everybody to understand this. You are born with a particular nature. You cannot change it. You are stuck with it. Did you choose to take birth in a particular family? No. Karmana daiva netrana. It is arranged with your consciousness. Try to understand this. Take it as it is. You will be happy. Arjuna is born to fight. Nothing he can do about it. Only choice he has, fight for Krishna or fight for his Maya. That's all. We have the same thing. We can shift our focus to Krishna or automatically goes to Maya. That attachment, that choice is individually within us. In every most frightening or most dangerous situation also, we have a choice, free will, to choose Krishna. Choosing Krishna is a one choice will make your life much better than any other choice. This is most important. This is the first sloka emphasizing. The choosing one, choosing Krishna is the one choice will make your life better choice. The Lord is very merciful. He said, "Oh Arjuna, listen, how with mind attached to me, practicing yoga means linking with him, taking refuge in me." You know, in the playground, the mother plays with the child. The child plays with the other children. But in the back of the child is always there that my mother is there waiting and watching me. At least in American playground, I used to see it. Not this year, last year, pandemic. But generally, if you go to playground, you'll see the children plays. But when the children needs hungry, thirsty, or got scared or need, run back to the mother. It's not like every moment the child is like focusing, is mother there or she left? No. This is called dependency. You have to depend on Krishna. Attachment to Krishna or chanting Krishna means depend. Surrender means depend. Do not ever depend on you or anyone else or anything. This is also in Brajadam Vrindavan. Mother Yashoda calls the Brahmana to do the jagna for the son, Krishna. While she is talking to the Brahmana, while she is massaging the feet of or the fatty thigh of Krishna, she is praying to Narayan. This is eternal. This type of thinking is eternal. Whatever we do, we are absorbed in Krishna. This is eternal. That's the ticket to enter there. Every Brajavashi, every coward boys, every coward girls, everybody, cows, monkeys, everybody has the dependence on Krishna. It is very sweet. It is very, this is what exactly we want. Okay. Now we are going to read the purport. Whoever did not read, volunteer. Read the, maybe, let's see how many paragraphs.
Yes,
halfway you can read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all appearances, and how he manifests such appearances is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahm Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Go ahead.
One should therefore begin yoga practices as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows.
Okay, we can recite those verses together. These are most important verses. I beg all of you, please print those verses. Srila Prabhupada, in the beginning of the movement, there was a separate book, began with those verses. These are only few verses, but actually there is a few more verses. It's like a compulsory for every devotee. In your life, anytime you have a doubt where you are, what is wrong, you can check with this. These are like a manual. You know, something, if you cannot figure it out, how to put together, go back to the manual. See if you followed. So these verses are very important from Bhagavatam. So we can recite together. Let's do it. Srinnatam Sakatam Krishna Punna Sravana Kirtana Hridayanta Sukhavadrani Vidunoti Shastra Prayesa Bhadreshu Nityo Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistati Tatha Rajastamo Bhava Kamalo Badayascha Je Tirana Viddam Stitam Satte Prashidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhakti Yoga Yogata Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Itante Hridayas Granthi Chindante Sarva Samsayam Priyante Chasya Karmani Tiste Vatmanishware. Can one Mataji please read the...
I will read, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, 2nd, 17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, verse 17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna? Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
Very good. So on this first verse, let's see. The last line Prabhupada put, therefore only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna. So this is a very nice key point we should memorize. And in your note, you should also write that word Tatsrinu, what is that means? Hear from who? Here Krishna is saying hear from me, but the purpose of hearing and who else? Now somebody may put a logic, Krishna is not present, so how do we hear? So Prabhupada is answering that question already, that you can hear from Krishna directly or Krishna conscious devotee, same. You will understand as long the subject matter will be revealed and you will understand the same subject matter. We are going to go to text 2. Oh, it's 9:30 here. So we'll take 5 minutes break. It's 1 hour and we'll be back. What is the time? Well, I don't know wherever you all are, but 5 minutes from now we'll be back.
Prabhuji, where
Okay,
are you
Prabhuji.
from? Where are you? You're in America. Where?
I am in Alachua, Florida.
Oh, wonderful.
Florida, America, yes.
Hey, Prabhuji, many of us from Philadelphia. About 15
Oh,
people
you're
are
from Philadelphia. Good.
Yes.
So you are in the same time.
Yes, we
Yes.
are all, yeah, many of us are in same time.
Okay. We are Eastern time. Good. So just give me 5 minutes, we'll be back.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Record can go on. I should mute. Hare Krishna. We are back. It's actually 5.5 minutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So we are going to begin from the slokas 2. Let's see. Sloka 2. Together. Jnanam te aham sa vijnanam idam bhakshami asheshata jajgeta neha bhuyanneja gettaibham avashishyate. Someone can read the synonyms, please.
Sure, Prabhu.
Jnanam, phenomenal knowledge. Te, unto you. Aham, I. Sa, with. Vijnanam, numerous knowledge. Idam, this. Vyakhyami,
Bhakshami.
shall explain. Avasistah, in full. Yat, which. Gyatva, knowing. Na, not. Iha, in this world. Bhuyaha, further. Anyat, nothing more. Gyatvabyam, knowledge. Avasisyate, remains. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Translation. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and noumenal, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. So two things, two types of knowledge Krishna going to reveal. Key point you must remember, the second verse, the two types of knowledge about the knowledge of this nature, material nature, and the spiritual nature, or in other words, the spirit, the conscious being. It's also energy. So two types of energy, knowledge about the material energy, knowledge about the marginal energy or the conscious being. So Krishna is going to give both. Now, in case in your mind you think the whole world is giving about this material knowledge, about the material world, what will be the difference? Let's see the purport what Prabhupada said. This is a very key point. It's not only to answer the question, it's also realizing, understanding. That's what will make us determined to be fixed in bhakti. The purport. Some Mataji can read, please.
Sure, Prabhuji, I will read. Perfect. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above-mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 1.1.3 say, Kashmin u bhagavo vignate sarvam idam vignatam bhavatiti.
Very good.
Thank you.
So now, because we live in the world where everybody is giving knowledge about this world, material nature. What will be the difference between this, the scientist or the modern education giving us versus Krishna is giving us in Bhagavad Gita, through Bhagavad Gita? We should be very clear that the methodology, the modern scientist or the education system they give, they are explaining the phenomenon world and they're giving material cause for the material phenomenon. This is the key point, very important. That's why they will never have complete answer and they'll never satisfy us. They will keep on going forever also. Because their methodology they are using to give the material cause for the material phenomenon. But here Krishna is saying, Prabhupada is restating again in the purport, that Krishna is giving the phenomenal world information and the spirit, but the source of both. So you can write it or remember it. The purpose of the world is beyond the world. Purpose of this body is beyond the body. This is Krishna's wonderful explanation, and we'll be satisfied with that. In Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I was reading many years back, he also explains very interestingly that until one is situated on the platform of ashakti, attachment. See, previous verse Krishna says you have to be attached to him. When you are attached, how do you become attached to Krishna? How do you become attached to someone or something? You have to be interest. You have to be interest. How do you develop the interest, attraction? Through the association of those who has attraction. You can never get on your own. I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything, but this is the reality. We must learn that we can get attraction to Krishna through the association of those who has attraction to Krishna. No other way. That's why it is important that we have a sadhana bhakti. We do Guru Puja or Prabhupada every day. We do those Tulasi Puja. These are called Bhagavad Association, Prabhupada says. When you chant, you serve Tulasi Devi, you serve Prabhupada's Guru Puja, you serve Bhagavatam, you hear every day. This association through those devotees who are giving, like when we read Prabhupada books, we are associating with Prabhupada. When we are following nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, we are associating with Rupa Goswami Pad. Because they have attraction to Krishna. Through them, we will be attracted to Krishna. It is important. And amongst us, whoever has more attraction, we should take association. Association means you give your attention to hear about Krishna. Association not just to hang around, but to pay attention and remind of Krishna. So until one is situated on the platform of attachment in the process of bhakti, knowledge of Krishna in awe and reverence is called Gyan. Try to remember that. Later, when we attain that ashakti, attachment, then the sweetness is realized through Vigyan. That's why Krishna says, please hear about both of this. After knowledge, which there will be nothing else to be known. Knowledge of Krishna's impersonal Brahman as well as Vigyan are included within this. When we think of knowing Krishna, we know Brahman, we know Paramatma, we know Bhagavan all together. But if you only want to know Brahman, you do not know Krishna. You do not know Paramatma. And if you only focus on Paramatma, you do not know Brahman, neither you know Krishna. But when you know Krishna, you know all other aspects together. That is the difference. The last word that Prabhupada put in his purport, that Jasmin Vigyate Sarvam Eva Vigyatam Bhavanti. The last sloka in the purport Prabhupada put. This is very important, very key point. When one performs Nirgun Bhakti, means pure Bhakti, no material motives or modes involved, he realized the complete Sharup of Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, who is the basis of transcendental opulences and sweetness. Srila Vyasdev attained complete vision and realization of Bhagavan's Swarup in a state of, I don't know if any of you, I'm sure some of you read Bhagavatam, where Vyasdev was disturbed and his guru came there, Narad Muni. And the reason I'm bringing it, because just knowledge is not enough. Vyasdev wrote all this Purana, Veda, but still he was disturbed. Of course, he is acting in that position. He is also incarnation of Krishna. Not possible, but Yogamaya put him to give us the understanding that just being, gathering, acquiring knowledge, but not applying is not going to make you or give you so much. You are limiting yourself. Gathering, purpose of gathering, acquiring knowledge is to apply. When you apply the knowledge, you will have the realization. And when you perform activities serving God on that realized knowledge, a mystical knowledge appears called revealed knowledge. That will affect others immediately. You become Krishna conscious, they will become Krishna conscious by your association. But it all begins with acquiring knowledge. We are not against acquiring knowledge. We must acquire knowledge. Otherwise, how we will apply? We have to hear first, then we apply. So here in this sloka, very nice, the Krishna is giving that clue. The Vyasdev attained complete vision and realization of the Swarup of Bhagavan in a state of Samadhi. Samadhi means you are uninterrupted absorption in Krishna. And this is, you can read 1st Canto, 7th chapter, text 4, explains this. Then he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. It should be understood that Brahma Gyan, Paramatma Gyan are included within this complete vision. I'm going to give you little tips. It's not part of this chapter, but it will help you to understand the rest of Bhagavad Gita, or anywhere in your life you hear. Whenever you think of Brahman, think of these 4 concepts. First, Purna Brahma. Whenever you hear the word Brahman, you immediately think Purna Brahma. It's in Bhagavatam, Brahmaji himself express, Aho Bhagyam, Nanda Kopa Brajastinam, Jatmitrani Paramananda, Purna Brahma Sanatana. He says, if you want to see the complete Brahman, you go to the Nanda Maharaj's front yard. He's playing, that's complete Brahman is playing. He's not talking about impersonal Brahman. He said, he is the complete Brahman. Why? Because no Brahman exists without that Brahman. And that Brahman is the shelter of all Brahman. Whether it's impersonal or Mahat Brahma, Jiva Brahma, you can go on. But without that Purna Brahman, nothing exists. That's why Brahmaji quoted this. In Bhagavad Gita also we will read, Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Arjuna says, when he realized Krishna's position, he immediately quoted that verse. Will come in few weeks. Param Brahma, Param Dhama. He also addressed Krishna as the Param Brahma. So whenever you hear the word Brahman, I'm just requesting all of you, always think first, who is the Brahman? Krishna. When Arjuna in Krishna book, Prabhupada writes, when Arjuna was going in the chariot with Krishna in the chariot to, he was suicidal, he was ready to commit suicide because he failed to rescue the children of the Brahmana. So he was about to kill himself, but Krishna came. He said, wait, I know where the children are. Arjuna had a power to search all over the universe, could not find. Then he started thinking, who is this, my cousin? They were not close friends at that time. Jogomaya just covered. In the journey, Arjuna was contemplating, who is this person? He knows my happiness more than I can find on my own way, my own happiness. These are the key points to understand. That Arjuna was trying to find his ultimate happiness. He could not, rather he failed. So he started thinking, who is this Krishna? He is trying to protect me. He's trying to save me. He's trying to save my prestige. I was about to kill myself. He stopped me. And he knows where those boys. So on the journey, many things happen. One of the things happened when they are going after the dark. This Mahakalapuram, the layer of this universe. After that, they came to Brahma Jyoti. So bright, even the horses of Krishna's Vaikuntha horses, they got like overwhelmed. Which way to go? It's so bright. What did Arjuna do? Srila Prabhupada writes, Arjuna paid obeisances. Who do you pay obeisances? If there is no person, how do you pay obeisances to a light or effulgence or space? Because Arjuna knew the Supreme Brahman is the holder, shelter of all Brahman. So first you think the four concepts. First is Purna Brahma is Krishna. Second, from him eternally impersonal Brahman are emanating. Non-stop. Even Sachimata got confused when he saw baby Nimai has blazing effulgence coming out from his toenail, from his fingernails. She thought, what happened to my son? Some ghost or something, but then ghost is not effulgence. She was like bewildered. She was so nervous, so she started rubbing her eyes. Maybe she's seeing something, when you're not clear, you're bewildered, you rub your eyes to see what's going on. Then Jogomaya covered it. Okay, don't worry, Mata, you'll be okay. Your Nimai is just a Nimai baby. But eternally, from his body, effulgence are coming out. There's a famous verse, if you want to learn, is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 3rd verse. Jad Advaita Brahma Panishadi Tadupashyata Nubhaja Atmantarjami Purusho Sahasangsa Vivava Tara Ishajya Purna Bhagavan Jasayamayam Na Chaitannat Krishna Jagati Paratatta Paramiha. All these 4 Brahman explained in one verse. This is the key verse of entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. Who is Lord Chaitanya? Who is Krishna? This one verse. All 4 Brahman, Bhagavan, Paramatma, Brahman, Nirvishesh, everything is there in that verse. So first Brahman is Krishna. Second Brahman is from his body what is coming out, the impersonal Brahman. Third Brahman is by his sweet will. Prabhupada translate like this: by his sweet will, a part of his impersonal Brahman is covered by illusory potency. That is called Mahad Brahman or material nature. And then fourth is these living entities. This is, we are going to come next chapter actually. Chapter 8, there are 6 questions. One question is, who am I? That Aham Brahman. If you remember these 4 Brahman, you'll never be confused with the Brahman conception. Anybody you face. And when we talk about the impersonal Mayavadi's conception of Brahman, is not same as our conception of Brahman. Mayavadi's conception of Brahman is absence of material variegatedness. Do we accept that? Yes and no, because that's not complete. It's like a half chicken. Half chicken philosophy we don't accept. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Half chicken means which part of the chicken you like. Because they only take half. They never will understand. Because they don't address they think that is spirit, means there is no variegatedness. Yes, we accept. But that impersonal Brahman coming from the variegated, that they don't know. Krishna is Nirvikar. He never transformed. Brahman never transformed. But never transformed does not mean inactive. That they don't know. Never transformed does not mean no varieties. Krishna has an unlimited form. But all form are eternal. Krishna is 1 year, 1 month, both are eternal. For me, it is not. My body was 2 years old, now I am 50 years old. Whatever the age is, the 2 years is lost. But for Krishna, every moment is an eternal form. It's never transformed. It's never become. It appears like he's growing to be a good, handsome boy. No, he's eternally a handsome boy. It's just manifesting to Mother Yashoda. So these are called knowledge about this text 2. Now we'll go to text 3. It's a very important verse also. All the verses are important. Okay, we are going to recite together. Or would somebody like to recite this clearly? Bamande Prabhu, I see your face right in front of me. Can you recite the verse, please? Text 3.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The Sanskrit verse?
Yes, Prabhu.
Manushyanam sahasresh kaschit yatati sityaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschinmam vetti tatvata.
Very good. Synonyms? You can read the synonyms also.
Yes. Manushyanam, of man, sahasreshu, out of many thousands, kaschit, someone, yatati, endeavors, siddhaye, for perfection, yatatam, of those, so endeavoring, api, indeed, siddhanam, of those who have achieved perfection, kaschit, someone, mam, me, veti, does know, tatvata, in fact.
Okay. Ram Syam Das. Prabhu, can you read the translation, please?
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth.
Very good. And Mother Nikunja Leela Devi Dasi. Can you read the purport, please? Part of it, first part, first paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
There are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is the self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and meeting, and hardly the chapters of Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by the persons who are in Krishna consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman is easier than understanding Krishna. Krishna is a supreme person, but at the same time, he is beyond the knowledge of a Brahman and Paramatma. The yogi and jnanis are confused in their attempt to understand Krishna. Although the greatest of the impersonalists, Sri Pada Shankaracharya, has admitted in his Gita commentary that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. His followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna even though one has a transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu Gautama Goel, can you read, please, the next paragraph, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. The primeval Lord Govinda, Ishvara Pram Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadidari Govinda Sarokarna Karnam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. If the path of bhakti is so easy as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized person without knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but when it is practiced factually according to the rules and regulations, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. Sri Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narad Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Disturbance of the society. You in your book, you don't have the sloka? Shruti, Sriti, Puranadi, Pancharatik, Viding Bina? Or are you trying to escape from the sloka?
Prabhuji, I escaped the sloka.
Why you want to escape? Rupa Goswami Pad heart softened to give this sloka. Just by uttering that sloka, your consciousness will purify. We may not see it in a physically, but in a subtle realm, these things are there. So recite this together. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatra, Vidimbina, Oikanti ki Harer Bhakti, Utpataiva Kalpate. Okay. Next person, Mother Mehandi Binod.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Vedas, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Arjuna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muhyanti yat suraya, mam tu vedha na kashchana. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. And if one does know him, then sa mahatma sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is, tattvataha, even though one is great scholar or philosopher. Only the pure devotees can know something of the inconceivable transcendental qualities in Krishna. His being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. He is the last word in Brahman realization, and the devotees alone can realize him as he is. Therefore, it is said, Ataha Krishna Namadi na bhavet gruhyam indriye sevanmukhe hi jivhado swayam eva spurti adha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees by being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So the key point I want everybody to remember, you may not require these bars, the last bars in the purport to remember, but if you want to experience Krishna's love within your heart, you have to have an attitude. And the attitude underlining is this verse. That if we don't have this service attitude, you can never approach. So this verse, try to memorize. This is sweeter than sweet rice. Once you actually dive into it, it will become like the best candy that you want to keep it in your mouth always. That's how you can approach the Lord and he will reveal to you. But sometimes these verses actually helps us to focus. Otherwise, we don't know whether we are focusing or not focusing. And if you can focus, then Prabhupada said, then you are Mahatma. These are very key verses Prabhupada gave. So I want everybody to try to memorize this. When, so here, this sloka is very important. The sloka, I'm going to paraphrase what we understood, that among thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. You can literally, wherever you are, you can search within 100 people. Are you interested? Are you doing something about life? You'll see everybody is doing something. They think they are figuring out about their life. They want to be good. They want to have access of everything. They want to be happy. This is called endeavoring for perfection. It's not only in the cave of Himalayas or somewhere. We are talking about everywhere. Even the grocery store, corner, gas station. If you go and talk to him for half an hour, you become a friend and say, what is the purpose of life? Why are you doing this? Well, then I'll have money, I'll have a security, I will have happy. They are endeavoring for perfection. This Bhagavad Gita is not just for the Hare Krishna people, it's for everybody speaking. It says endeavor for perfection. Everybody is trying to endeavor for perfection all the time, even atheists. But then Krishna says, among those who attain perfection, it is rare for even to know his Sharup. Tomorrow is, Today is Thursday is Advaita Acharya's appearance day. So I have one study group. So I put a question today morning, so that one God explain what is the phenomenon world, and he manifests himself. Then another God is completely confused and depressed, could not understand what the first God said. If you are aware of Advaita Acharya, you will catch it. And then he is calling the depressed God, he is inviting another God, third God. Please come quick to help me. I am confused with this Bhagavad Gita explanation. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavad, you will know that Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Advaita Acharya is also God, but he got confused on few verses. The whole chapter 10 in Chaitanya Bhagavad is written on that one verse. Sarvata pani padam tat sarvata akshi shiromukam. And he could not even eat or sleep. Then Lord Chaitanya came in the dream. He said, I'm coming soon, appear, and I will explain you. So I put the question, one God spoke Gita, another God got confused, and he's inviting third God to come and explain. Advaita Acharya is a supreme personality of Godhead. Yes, everybody knows. He is a possessor of all wealth. Yes. But he has a debt of 300 rupees. Did you understand that? If you read Prabhupada's purport, you will know. Ask yourself, God is the possessor of all wealth, but he has a debts, 300 rupees. Would you like to help to pay their debts?
Yes.
Who said yes? What is your name, Prabhu? I cannot see. Who said yes?
Kevalyadas. By studying,
Kevalyadas.
by following the Advaita Acharya Prabhu's instructions and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's relations with him, because of him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually appeared in this world. So we cannot we cannot repay his debt. We cannot.
That is true. What you said, I appreciate. But try to look at from different angle again. One secretary of Advaita Acharya send a note to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, King Prataprudra. But the note, instead of going to the king, it went to Lord Chaitanya's hand. And Lord Chaitanya is reading, and Prabhupada gave a big purport, smashing this conception. I'm going to reword it, try to understand. He said, Advaita Acharya is a supreme Lord. Mahaprabhu read it. He said, that's true. Advaita Acharya is supreme Lord. Then he writes, he's a possessor of all wealth. That's true. Then he writes, he has a debt, 300 rupees. Can somebody explain me what is that means? How can he be God of possessing all wealth and he has a debt? D-E-B-T. Debt, not death. D-E-B-T, debts. Means you owe him. He owes somebody 300 rupees. Mahaprabhu got angry with that. What kind of God is this? Explanation. And if you say, why did you ask, can you help to, would you like to help to pay? That was, I created that just to test you. I won't say the name. If I say the name of one devotee, he's a senior devotee here. And anyway, I can tell you. No, I would not say. He's a multi-millionaire. So him and his wife said, we would like to pay Advaita Acharya's debt. I said, no, you have to understand the question. How can Supreme God who possesses all wealth, he has a debts? And you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada was smashing this idea. This is wrong conception. Mahaprabhu did not like it. He said that devotee should not see me, is not allowed to see me forever. Of course, he allowed after some time, but that idea, conception, is also with us. We think we are serving in Krishna consciousness movement. This is Radha Krishna's temple, but we need money. We may come to that conclusion too. If Krishna is the possessor of all wealth, then you think he doesn't have money? Or actually, they're giving an opportunity for us to engage ourselves with our propensity. If you think Krishna needs money, we are in a wrong philosophy. Krishna does not need money. Krishna owns everything. Got it? Okay. So we have 10 minutes. Is there any question, comment, reflection? I want someone to tell me what you're going to take out today discussion. I supposed to finish 2 more texts, but tomorrow I'll cover it because it's first day. I just wanted to have a feeling where the floors are, who are here. Give me some feedback. What are you going to take today from this class that will go with you? Or if you have a question.
Yeah,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Is there a host? Maybe somebody can just go one by one.
You are
Okay.
the host now, Prabhuji. You are the host.
Oh, I don't know how to operate. How to operate. Maybe you can raise your hand or something. Whoever would like to share.
Raise hand option.
I don't know option. Just go ahead, Mata. Archana Bhakti Devi Dasi. Please.
Prabhuji, you said about Arjuna's Gandiva. You said Arjun put his Gandiva down and you compared Gandiva to determination. So at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, before Bhagavad Gita started, he put his down. But after listening to Bhagavad Gita, he picked up the Gandiva. So that is applicable to each one of us. So by studying this Bhagavad Gita, we should be able to take up that determination, which is bhakti to Krishna, service to Guru and Vaishnavas. And under any challenging circumstance, we should not put it down.
Very good. Thank you, Mata. Wonderful. Yes, Mother Sojana Guduru. Please
Thank you,
forgive me
Prabhuji.
if I
Hare
don't
Krishna.
pronounce properly.
Prabhuji, it's correct. Saujanya Man. It's correct. Yeah, Prabhuji. The takeaway that I felt is that when you mentioned like how Shri Krishna, Lord Krishna told Arjuna, we should always hear from Krishna, the bona fide Guru. Don't just, because the scientists, those who have written, they have written the books, but they don't know beyond, like they're not authorized teachers. They're not like in the disciplic succession. So that was one of the takeaway, Prabhuji.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. This is a nice point that the scientists or the modern teaching system, they are taking a methodology to explain the material cause for the material phenomenon. But Krishna on the text 2 is saying he is the cause of both the spirit and the material phenomenon. So we are not disrespecting the modern science. We are not criticizing. They are doing their things, but they never, I literally personally talk to many of them. They literally take this methodology that they use to teach in the university to say the material cause for the material phenomenon. And they baffled, that's why. The difference with us, Krishna says, he is the cause. So until
They do not
accept it-
know the complete. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. That was very nice. Anyone else?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can I say, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mother Aditi Lata Devidasi, and then Gautama Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you said about Jiva as Sushukhanesi, like pleasure seeker.
One second, Mata. Someone. Okay.
My
Thank you.
kids'
You can
class
keep
is
it.
going on. I think my kids' class is going on in the background. That's what you're hearing, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Can you hear now? Can you hear,
Okay.
Prabhuji? So you said Jiva is Shukhaneshi, like pleasure seeker, and we have the propensity to like love, to experience love. You gave example of child, how the child loves, is always sure that the mother is going to take care of the child. And this propensity of us is only going to be satisfied when we are seeking this pleasure from Krishna, when we are having this relationship with Krishna. That's what you said.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yes, Gautama Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, 4 questions comprises all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
First question is, what is suffering? Second question is, what is the cause of suffering? Third question is, what is solution for that suffering? And fourth one is, how can I receive the knowledge, or how I can awaken my love for Krishna?
Very good. Thank you. Any others? Reflection, question, comments? We have 5 more minutes.
Prabhuji, I have one question. If you can tolerate the question, it's very childish though. Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mata, go ahead, please.
So you said that in the beginning of the class that we have our nature, which we are always carrying, the eternal nature, which we are from previous many births, which cannot go away. But I had this understanding, maybe I was wrong, that once we take to Krishna consciousness, our previous consciousness, the previous whatever we are carrying with us, the baggage, it get dissolved. Isn't it so?
Yes. Maybe my way of expressing, I could not make you grasp that. We have our eternal nature. We have our eternal position. We have our eternal function. 3 things. There is a 3 truth of the whole relationship based on 3 truth. Served, service, servant, Prabhupada use. Or you can use a common language, love, beloved, lover. This is the eternal truth. This is the foundation of all religion, should be based on how close they are on this 3 truth. Now, on the eternal nature that you are asking, the soul is eternal servant of Krishna. Just like the water, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave analogy, Prabhupada also gave that analogy. Water has a liquidity as a main quality of water. It's not American water is liquid. Everywhere in the universe, water is always liquidity as a quality. But same water, when you take in a frozen condition in the refrigerator, freezer, what happened to the quality of liquidity?
Ice, solid.
But solid is not liquid. What happened to that liquidity as a quality of the water?
It transforms.
It transformed. But you have to add little more. It is in a latent position. Latent means it is there, but it is not visible. Where is the proof? If you take it out the ice to a normal temperature, it will start melting again. So it is always there, but may not be visible. It may be visible. It depends on the condition. If it's in freezing, it will not manifest. If it's in a normal temperature, it will manifest. We have love for Krishna as an eternal nature. I don't know you, but sometime I used to ask myself, do I really have love for Krishna? I don't feel it. How can, I love the girl, I love the nice car, I can feel it. I love nice prasadam. Loving Krishna, I don't feel it sometimes. Is it there or not there? Yes, it is there, but it is rusted. It has to be cleaned. It has to come to normal temperature, means God consciousness, pure goodness. Pure goodness means natural existence for the soul. Then that love will be naturally flows towards Krishna. Until that point, difficult to convince. So what should we do? We should hang around, or we should take shelter of those who has experience of their natural love for Krishna. By their, like a outside fire can ignite the fire of the wood. Their association, Prabhupada's association, Senior Devotees Association can ignite our natural love for Krishna. That time you will see it as a natural flow. Now, what do you talk about the sanskar, that pre-impression carrying from life after life? We are talking about the conditional. So when you are born as a Aditi Lata Devi Dasi in somewhere in this world, you are born with your parents, with your family, with your neighbors, with your country. You are affected, your consciousness is affected by the food you eat, talk you do, your rituals, or maybe believer of God, maybe no believer of God, whatever, you grow up with it. That's called Adhanik Sanskar. It invaded in your consciousness. Do you know where the heart is? Can anybody answer me where the heart is? The soul's heart, where? Physical heart, we know.
Throughout the body. Throughout the body.
No. Where it says? Prabhupada didn't say that. It's a good guess, but it's not correct. But it's a good guess though. You're very close.
Chest.
Chest is a physical.
Physical, yeah. Chest region, the heart region. That's what it says.
You're trying to reach it. Very good. Keep on doing. Someday you'll get it. So please write it down. Srila Prabhupada said, heart is the center of consciousness. The soul's heart is in the center of consciousness. And consciousness means thinking, willing, feeling. These are the symptoms of consciousness. Right now we see each other. You can think. You are aware that you are seeing to me through the Zoom. This is your awareness. This is called Chit potency. You can think what he's saying, it makes sense, maybe it doesn't make sense. This thinking ability is Sat potency, Sat. You are Sat Chit Ananda, eternal. It will never be changed. You have a power of thinking. You have a power of awareness. If I ask you, how do you prove that you exist? You can say, I'm talking with you. I'm aware, I'm in the home. I'm aware I have children. I am in America or I'm in India. I don't know where you are, but you are aware. So that's called chit potency. And Ananda means feeling. I like Rasgulla or Gulab Jamun. I don't like bitter, but actually I like Karla. What do you call bitter melon? That's just me. Jayadvaita Maharaj, I don't know if you know Jayadvaita Swami, one of the senior sannyasi in our movement. We are very close. He's very good well-wisher. He loves cookies. He grew up with the cookies in New York. He still loves cookie after 50 years sannyasi, dedicated. He still loves cookie. I invited him one day. I said, Maharaj, I made a nice plate of prasadam, but I know he has a weakness of cookies. I also got a cookies by another mother made and some whipped cream and some coconut juice. So I put that aside and I have a big plate of nice Mahaprasad with varieties of sabji. I said, Maharaj, these are all nice for you. It's Krishna Prasadam, is offered to the deity. And if you're interested, there's some cookies here. After 1 minute, he took one bite of this and he went back to the cookies and the whipped cream. That's it. And he forgot the whole plate of prasadam. It is called natural attraction from upbringing. But if you ask me, I like bitter melon. I'm not saying everybody has to like. I like Karla. It's very nice. I grew up like that. So everybody has a natural attraction by the impression they grow up with. So that's Adhanik Sanskar. Praktan Sanskar is you caring for many lives. You are walking on the road, none of your friend is interested about these things, what's going on that. You said, I'm interested, I want to know. Your mind is like going like crazy. You want to know about this, what is going on. Others are not interested because it's caring from previous life. It is a natural attraction. Don't take it in a personally, but even in practically, you may see 10 handsome men. I know you're not looking for that or anything, but you will see out of 10 handsome men, 1 man is attracted, 9 is not as much. Where is this idea coming from? From previous life. So we have a 2 sanskar, Adhanik sanskar, Praktan sanskar. And you have to grow spiritual life with these 2 challenges. It's hard, but our goal to reach like Arjuna. Jayadratha types of people will come to hurt him. It will give us pain and other, but we will not give up Krishna consciousness. This is the purpose of reading, serving Bhagavad Gita. So yes, more you take it, that doesn't mean all this impression will go away. They will come on the surface and you have to choose not to act on them. You know how many times, I'm not going to tell you, you can read or hear Mahabharata. How many times Arjuna got tortured? Even Ashwatthama came, started brutally attacked to Krishna with the arrow. Arjuna jumped in front. He said, before you touch him, you touch this body. Every day Arjuna had to fight. Wait a minute, didn't he see that everybody got killed? It's done. Why you have to do like this? Sometimes we think, I joined, I'm already, when this problem will be over? Can't I have just like a simple life, like no trouble? No. In this material world, there will be always trouble. 18.58 Krishna says, you can write it down. Krishna promised you unsinkable ship. You know unsinkable ship? Means if you stay in the ship, you'll cross the other side. But Krishna does not promise stormless ocean. Means there will be stormy weather. The boat will go, why is like this? I'm a senior devotee, 50 years I'm chanting, why? All of a sudden car accident. Car accident happened to Prabhupada in Mauritius. The what's the best car? The minister gave. Oh, Krishna. No, not
Rolls
Limbaugh.
Royce. Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce. It got smashed in the sugarcane field. Prabhupada was in the back seat. The car got smashed. He said, Mahabhagavat, how can Krishna do this to Prabhupada? No, Prabhupada did not say that. Brahmananda Prabhu, he says, Prabhupada was chanting before, during the car crash, and after the car crash. He did not stop chanting. And he didn't complain or say anything. And each of us, we have to become like that. So please write it down. Krishna promised unsinkable ship. Means you will cross, you will go. But you have to stay in the ship, means Krishna consciousness. But he does not promise what? Stormless weather, stormless ocean. There will be storm, there will be knockout, you'll feel like sick, you don't feel like to chant, you are so much sick. Krishna is testing. Oh, you're giving up chanting because you are not feeling well. So I'll end with this. Just one more last note. You write it down, please. Bhakti does not sustain on tribulation or mental emotion. Bhakti or Krishna consciousness does not sustain on tribulation or mental emotion. Bhakti sustained today, Mother Archana Bhakti Devi Dashi, I think she mentioned that, as I mentioned in the beginning. Bhakti sustained on conviction, dedication, determination. This is we need from Bhagavad Gita to learn. Prabhupada had a problem with the liver. Maybe you all don't know all details. Prabhupada had a toothache. Even dentist says, no talk, at least for 3 days. After a couple hours, Prabhupada told to Hariswari Prabhu, why nobody is coming today? He said, we canceled all. Why? He said, the dentist said, it is impossible for you to talk. You have such a severe pain. Prabhupada said, I know, or he knows better about my health. I want to speak about Krishna. What is the value of life sitting here? Did he feel the pain? You can ask Prabhupada. But the servant asked. Prabhupada said, I did not feel, it's not important to me. It's important that I glorify Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita is the best literature to keep us in Bhakti path. So hope everybody keeps in mind, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, 8:30 in our time, Florida. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpa taru vesya kipa sindhu bhaivacha. Ananta Guri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki jai. Samaveta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.